fallout from the Cuomo report, the growing investigations. An accuser says she'll sue, and the plunging support. New tonight, even one staunch ally says Cuomo must go. Thank you for joining us now at 7. I'm Chuck Scarborough. Tonight, the fallout from the Cuomo report is spreading far and wide in New York State. Prosecutors are picking up where the state attorney general left off. At least 4 district attorneys want information about alleged harassment that happened in their areas, including Manhattan, Westchester, and Nassau counties. Among the allegations now under investigation, the unnamed state trooper who says Cuomo sexually harassed her several times. Cuomo has not yet been criminally charged, but that's not his only legal problem. Tonight, the first woman to come forward says she is suing Cuomo for alleged retaliation. News 4's Andrew Siff starts off our coverage at the governor's East Side office. Andrew?
Right, Chuck. We'll begin with that. Lindsey Boylan, who you'll recall was the first accuser. She accused the governor of giving her an unwanted kiss and making lewd comments about her. She is planning to sue the governor and his office over retaliation. That development following another big development in terms of the political fallout. One of the governor's closest advisors, most loyal advisors, now saying that he, too, thinks the governor should step down. Outside the governor's Manhattan office today, longtime critics using foul language to make their point.
Resign.
But it's longtime supporters of the governor who hoped their message would get through.
My advice to him was to resign. I have been over the past 24 hours trying to get us to a point where, he could consider stepping aside.
Jay Jacobs leads the state's Democratic Party and has been a staunch ally for years. Now calling Cuomo this afternoon to tell him his time is up.
I think it's for his own good, and I think there's a future. There's redemption. American politics is full of stories of redemption.
The ramped up political pressure to end the Cuomo tenure, just one day after the Attorney General's scathing conclusion.
That Governor Andrew Cuomo sexually harassed multiple women, and in doing so violated federal and state law.
But after Tuesday's release of a pre-recorded video rebuttal,
I want you to know directly from me that I never touched anyone inappropriately.
Cuomo today out of sight in Albany, dividing his time between the executive office building and the governor's mansion, the same mansion where one of the 11 accusers said Cuomo groped her. He denies it, but that's now triggered the Albany DA to launch a criminal probe.
We will conduct our own independent investigation. It will be done expeditiously.
Westchester DA Mimi Rocha also opening a criminal probe of the governor's conduct towards the state trooper he first met on the RFK bridge. She was later assigned to protect him at his home in Mount Kisco. The report found the governor ran his finger from the top of her neck down her spine to the middle of her back.
Really commend the trooper and everyone who, every single one of those women who had the courage to speak about what the governor did to them.
And Manhattan DA Cy Vance now also investigating, since some conduct is alleged to have happened at Cuomo's city office. Accuser Charlotte Bennett today said lawmakers must hold him accountable.
We should impeach the governor because he clearly cannot accept responsibility for any of his behavior.
Now, the Assembly Judiciary Committee up in Albany, which is leading the impeachment inquiry, is scheduled to convene Monday morning. Jay Jacobs, the Cuomo longtime ally, told me he hopes that Cuomo is no longer governor by Monday morning. We're live outside his office on the East Side. Andrew Siff, News 4 New York.
Andrew, thank you. Well, tonight we're getting our first look at how New Yorkers feel about the crisis now. And it's pretty substantial. By a margin of more than 2 to 1. 2 to 1. Registered voters polled by Marist College say Cuomo should resign. He's made clear so far that he will not do that. So for now, his future is in the hands of state lawmakers who appear ready to impeach him. News 4's Chris Florioso is live in Albany to explain how that process would work. Chris?
Chuck, we are live on the Assembly side of the state capitol, and that's because all the focus really is on the state Assembly at this point. It is the Assembly that would draw up any potential articles of impeachment, and it is the Assembly that would vote to impeach. Now, if the Assembly did that, vote to impeach, then the governor would immediately be suspended from his executive authority while he waits for the Senate to decide whether or not to remove him from office. And meanwhile, every citizen of New York is holding their breath, wondering, could it really come to that?
All quiet all day at the executive mansion in Albany. Above, a plane buzzes by with a banner that says, "Remove Cuomo now." Even the governor's friends, like State Senator Pete Harckham, are now calling for his resignation.
This was not a he said, she said. There was a great deal of corroborating evidence. And as a father of 2 adult daughters, it's unacceptable.
If Cuomo ignores the cascade of calls to step down, he will likely have a date with history, almost assuredly becoming only the second New York governor to be impeached. Back in 1913, Governor William Sulzer was first. He was impeached and removed from office over campaign finance violations. Cuomo, like Sulzer, suggesting he'll try to hang on to power.
What matters to me at the end of the day is getting the most done I can for you.
So when might impeachment articles be drawn? Legislative sources say it could take a month or less, especially if Speaker Carl Heastie opts to end the State Assembly's investigation and simply enter the Attorney General's report into the record.
This is over for Governor Cuomo.
State Senator James Skoufis says he does not believe it will ultimately come to impeachment because the governor will come to terms with his lack of support and limited options.
He will not want to go through even further embarrassment, even further shame of an impeachment trial that he knows he's going to lose. The votes are there to impeach and convict without question.
If Governor Cuomo decides to risk a potential impeachment trial, he may be risking more than just his current governorship. He might also risk the opportunity to run for governor again. That's because the state's constitution says a potential penalty for conviction in the Senate could be disqualification from future statewide office. Now, as you heard Andrew say, on Monday, the Assembly Committee looking into impeachment is scheduled to meet. One question they're going to have to deal with is this. If they draft articles of impeachment, should they be confined just to the sexual harassment issues in the AG's report? Or, as some Republicans want, should they also include issues related to the COVID nursing home scandal? We'll have to stay tuned to find out what they decide. For now, reporting live in Albany, Chris Glorioso, News 4 New York.